Hey friends, it's Wendy Pope with something to think about. Have you ever been in a situation where you know God has told you to do something, or you really believe with great certainty that God has told you to do something, and then you're faced with making that decision and the reality, and you see the reality of that decision, and on the other side of that decision stands giants and mountains and things that you can't believe that you could possibly get over or get through or get around. And then you just make the decision to kind of withdraw back in and go, I don't think so. I think I'll just stay over here. It's happened to me more times than I want to admit. And just recently in my daily reading, in my chronological reading, we went through or we're right in the story of the Israelites getting ready to go over into the promised land, or at least they think they are. And they've sent over these 12 scouts or 12 people, you might want to say, to survey the land. Well, God has already told them, when you get to the promised land, when you get to the land which I have given you, win this, win that, win this. He's already told them that he's going to give them this land. And Moses is sending over this group of people just to scout it out, just to kind of see what the situation looks like. And they come back and they're like, oh, the land is exactly what God told us it was going to be. But we've got these big, humongous people. There's no way we're going to conquer this land. And then there's two people out of this 12 that say, you know what? We can do this. I know we can. God has told us this. Basically just reconfirming in front of the entire crowd what God had promised them. But you know what they did? They listened. Even Moses and Aaron, the leaders of God's people, even the leaders listened to the 10, to the negative. And they said, okay, we just won't go in there. We just won't go in there. So here we find the situation where God has said, fine, you know what? I've tried to help you. I've done everything. I've led you by fire. I've led you by cloud. I have taken out your enemies. I don't know what else to do here. So you are going to wander here. You're going to wander around here. And no one above a certain age is going to get into this promised land. And, I'll still take care of you. I'll still be here, but y'all aren't going in. Except. And here's where we come in at Numbers 14. Chapter 14. You will not enter and occupy the land I swore to give you. The only exceptions will be Caleb and Joshua. And here's our something to think about today. Are we going to be women who are exceptions and will be exceptions, or are we going to accept defeat? Are we going to be women who say, you know what? Therefore, by the grace of God, I am going forward. I am an exception. God has promised me this. God has told me this. God has never failed me. Even if we can't even see clearly, we can see clearly past and behind us. Hindsight is always 20/20. And he has been faithful up to this point, and he will be faithful to that point. Can I encourage you? He will be faithful over there. So let's be exceptional instead of accepting defeat when God means for us to have victory. Now that is something to think about.